I have a challenge for you. Listen to one story every day on this channel. Just 30 minutes for 30 days. Do it, and I promise you, your English will change forever. Are you ready? Let's begin. You have studied English for months, maybe even years. But still, when a native speaker talks, you understand almost nothing. The words feel too fast, too connected, too confusing. You think you need more grammar, more vocabulary, more rules. But the truth is, you don't. There is a hidden trick, simple but powerful, that can change everything. Think about this. When you were a child, you learned your first language without grammar books, without exercises, without translations. You listened. Every single day, your brain collected sounds, patterns, and meanings. Slowly, you began to understand. And then, naturally, you began to speak. This is exactly how English works, too. But most people forget this natural process. They study rules instead of training their ears. And that's why they still struggle to understand. So what is the hidden trick to understand English easily? The trick is listening to understandable stories every single day. Not 1 hour today and nothing for a week. Not difficult podcasts full of unknown words, but simple, clear, interesting stories that your brain can actually follow. When you listen daily, your brain starts to recognize patterns. Words stop being strange. Phrases become familiar. Your ears begin to hear the rhythm of English, and suddenly you don't need to translate in your head anymore. You just understand. At first, it might feel slow. You will think, I understand nothing. This is too hard. But that's only because your brain is not used to English yet. You have to give it time to wake up. The more you listen, the faster it learns. Every sound, every pause, every emotion becomes familiar. You don't notice the change day by day, but after a few weeks, you will. You will start to catch words you never noticed before. You will understand phrases that used to sound like noise. And one day you will surprise yourself. Someone will speak to you in English and your brain will answer before you even think. That's the power of daily listening. It's like watering a plant. If you water it once a month, nothing happens. But if you give it a little water every day, it grows quietly and visibly until one day it's strong and alive. Your English works the same way. Don't chase difficult materials. Don't try to impress anyone. Focus on stories you can enjoy and understand. Because when you enjoy something, you remember it. And when you remember, you grow. Make English part of your life. Listen while you walk, while you cook, while you drive. You don't need to sit at a desk or stare at a screen. Just listen and live. Let the rhythm of English become part of your world. After some time, you will notice something amazing. You will start to think in English, not because you forced yourself, but because your brain now feels comfortable. It knows the sounds, it knows the words, it knows how they fit together. This is what real fluency is, when English stops being a subject and becomes a language you live in. So stop worrying about grammar. Stop trying to translate everything in your head. You don't need to understand 100%. Even 50% is enough because your brain fills the gaps. It learns from repetition, not from perfection. Keep listening every day, even when you're tired, even when you're bored. Because that's when real learning happens. Not when it's easy, but when you stay consistent. And remember this, the people who become fluent are not the smartest or the most talented. They are simply the ones who never stop listening. When you listen to English every day, something interesting happens inside your brain. It begins to change the way it processes sounds. At first, your brain tries to translate everything into your native language because that's how it has worked for years. But slowly, after hours and hours of listening, it stops translating. It starts to understand directly. This is when real progress begins. When English stops being a school subject and becomes a part of your thinking. You start to hear not single words, but full ideas. You no longer panic when someone speaks fast because your brain begins to recognize meaning through tone, emotion, and rhythm. This is the natural way all humans learn languages. But most people never reach this stage because they give up too early. They listen for 1 week, maybe 2, and when they don't see results, they say, "It doesn't work." But imagine if a baby did that. Imagine if a baby listened for 2 weeks and then decided, "I can't understand. I will stop." It sounds funny, right? But that's exactly what adults do. The difference between people who speak English fluently and those who don't is not intelligence. It's patience. Fluency grows slowly, silently, day by day, while you are not even aware of it. Every minute you listen, your brain collects data. It builds connections. It creates memory. It's like programming a computer. You don't see the code, but it's working in the background. That's why consistency is more important than intensity. 30 minutes every day is much better than 3 hours once a week. Your brain loves regularity. It learns through repetition and routine. The more you listen, the more automatic English becomes. You can turn this process into a simple daily habit. Start your morning with English. Listen while you drink coffee or prepare for work. Add English to your walk, your lunch break, or your time in the gym. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just connect your headphones and listen. Let English become the background sound of your life. And here is something very important. Don't try to understand every single word. Focus on the message, on the story. If you understand the general meaning, that's enough. Your brain will fill the small gaps naturally. The more you listen, the more those gaps disappear. When you repeat a story, don't think, "I already heard this." Listen again, because every time you listen, you understand more. Repetition is not boring. It's the engine of fluency. Some days you will feel inspired. Other days you will feel tired and lazy. That's normal. But remember, even on the days when you don't feel motivated, listening still works. Your brain learns even when you are not paying full attention. That's why listening is so powerful. It trains you passively, naturally, without pressure. After a few weeks of daily listening, something magical happens. You start hearing English everywhere, in songs, in movies, in random conversations. You start recognizing phrases and patterns without effort. You no longer think, "What does this word mean?" Instead, you simply know. That's when you realize you've crossed a line. The line between learning English and living it. At this point, you don't need to force yourself anymore. Listening becomes part of your identity, part of your lifestyle. You don't study English, you experience it. And the more you experience it, the more natural it feels. You begin to notice that your thoughts are changing too. You start describing things to yourself in English, sometimes without realizing it. You think in small phrases, simple but clear, and that's how real fluency begins. So keep going. Keep listening, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because every second you listen, you move one step closer to understanding. And one day you'll look back and realize English is no longer foreign to you. It's part of who you are. Now that you know how listening changes your brain, the next step is to make it part of your daily life. And the best way to do that is to keep it simple. Don't plan a perfect system. Don't wait for motivation. Just decide that every day, no matter what happens, you will spend a few minutes with English. Maybe you will listen in the morning while you prepare breakfast. Maybe you will listen during your lunch break or on your way home. Maybe before sleep, with your eyes closed, just letting your mind relax while the story plays. It doesn't matter when. What matters is that you do it every single day. Some days it will feel easy. Some days you will be tired, but those tired days are actually the most powerful ones. Because when you listen even when you don't feel like it, you build real discipline. And discipline always leads to fluency. After 30 days of daily listening, you will feel the difference. At first, it will be small. You will notice that English no longer sounds scary. You will understand sentences more naturally. You will stop translating in your head. And you will start feeling the language. Your pronunciation will improve too, not because you practiced it directly, but because your ears learn the correct sounds. When you hear English enough, your mouth naturally follows. You start copying the rhythm, the tone, the melody, all without thinking. This is how children learn. They listen, they repeat, and they grow. They don't worry about mistakes or grammar. They just live inside the language, and that's exactly what you are doing now. You are living inside English, but remember, listening is not magic. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. The results come slowly, quietly, while you are not looking. That's why most people never experience it. They give up too soon. Don't make that mistake. If you keep going for 30 days, you will already feel progress. If you keep going for 90 days, you will understand most everyday conversations. And if you make listening part of your lifestyle, English will become a natural part of who you are. So listen to stories. Listen to voices. Listen to real people speaking naturally. Don't worry about perfection. Focus on connection. Your goal is not to understand every single word, but to let your brain get comfortable with the sound of English. And remember this, your brain is always learning, even when you don't realize it. Every word, every sound, every pause, it all leaves a mark. English understanding is not a skill you build. It's a habit you grow. Like sunlight for a plant, listening gives your brain what it needs to grow stronger each day. One day, you will be listening to a podcast or watching a movie in English, and something amazing will happen. You will understand almost everything. You will smile, maybe laugh, because you'll realize you did it. You reached the point where English feels easy. And the best part? You did it without stress, without pressure, without fear, just by listening. So from today, make a promise to yourself. Every single day, give English a little part of your time. 30 minutes is enough. Do it while you live your normal life. Listen while you move, walk, travel, clean, rest, because this is the hidden trick. Simple, natural, powerful. The trick that schools never teach, but that always works. And when you finally understand English easily, you'll look back and realize something important. It was never about studying harder. It was about trusting the process, staying patient, and never stopping. So start today. Put your headphones on, press play, and let English change the way you see the world.